The news and the media, they make it seem like I'm taking crazy pills. You've saved, sacrificed, and invested for years. Now you're no longer getting a paycheck from a job. So the big questions for retirement is this. How do you retire with enough income to live the lifestyle you always wanted without the fear of running out of money, going back to work, or becoming a burden on the people you love? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Patrick McNally, and welcome to Retirement Lifestyles. What's up, everybody? Patrick McNally here, Retirement Lifestyles Advisors, and welcome to the Retirement Lifestyles Podcast. And today on the show, I'm going to talk about this crazy media that we deal with all of the time. And I've just, for some reason, I've been getting a lot of calls and emails lately about the headlines. And it's like every other day. One day, there's blood on the streets and the market's on fire and this crash. The time has finally come. The market's going down. And then literally the next day, the Dow Jones has reached a brand new all-time high. It's like it's enough to drive you crazy. It's like taking crazy pills, literally. I mean, it at the very least, it makes you think that the market is schizophrenic and can't make up its mind. And it's very natural for people to feel that way. I mean, you're watching TV and it's always something different. So today I am here to help you see past the headlines and use some behavioral strategies to help, really to keep negative news from throwing you off. We are living in this day and age of overwhelming information. I mean, information at our fingertips. I mean, and you know this. I mean, it's not like it's anything brand new. With technology these days, we know what happened halfway across the world in 2 seconds. Like it happened 2 seconds ago, and we know about it. That's the speed of information. Now, that's good and bad, right? It's good because we know what's going on in real time. We don't have to wait for the newspaper that's, a week old with the story. No, it's instantaneous. We know exactly what's going on. So it's good and bad. It's bad because it's never ending. There's always something going on. Always. There's always something bad. There's always something good. There's always something that's never happened before. It's different this time. Yeah, we've seen that. There's always something going on. That's news. And what you need to realize, guys, is that the market reacts to news. It's literally that simple. That's why you can't predict what the market's going to do from day to day. I mean, you can't tell me what the market's going to end at tomorrow. Could be up 500 points, could be down 20%. Who knows what the market's going to do? It's based on news. The reason you can't tell me is because you can't tell me what the front page news is going to be tomorrow. You kind of see where I'm going at with all of this? So when you live in this day and age of instantaneous information, you got to kind of take a step back and you got to go, okay, deep breath. What's really going on here, and how does it actually affect me and my life right now? And if you kind of take a look around and you see the sun is shining outside, it's a beautiful day, you can pretty much tell yourself, this isn't going to affect me at all, really. Now, when it comes to your finances, you want to have a plan for all of this. You want to understand how news can affect your investments. Well, it shouldn't really affect your investments from the standpoint of you need to be making changes on a day-to-day basis. That's the worst thing you can do. You should have a plan in place where you've got a portfolio that's feeding you income. You're not only relying on growth. You rely on growth when you're working. Because you're getting a paycheck from a job. You're putting money into an account, your savings, your 401k, your IRA. You're saving for later on. But once you're retired, you're no longer getting a paycheck. So now you're pulling money out. Well, you should be investing completely different, in my opinion, than when you were working. When you're working, you're going after growth. You want to see that growth in the market. You can afford to take a 10 or 15 or 20% hit because you're not retiring for 10 years. So big deal. Put more money in. But now that you're in retirement or you're getting close, you need to take a step back and go, how am I investing And am I investing properly for this time of my life? Most people, the answer is no. Most people in their 60s and 70s are investing like they did in their 20s, and that can be actually kind of dangerous. You need to have a little bit of a mind shift and start investing for income versus growth. And that doesn't mean that growth isn't important. It just means it becomes secondary to income. Income should be number one. So if you can focus on that, if you have a portfolio designed for income, you can pretty much ignore these day-to-day ups and downs in the market. Yeah, you want to know what's kind of going on, but you don't need to stress about it. You know, and I guess that's the problem. Everywhere we look, we're surrounded by social media, all of these headlines designed to do one thing: grab our attention. They got to have eyeballs, guys. They got to have eyeballs on their stuff, whether that's on, if you're still getting a newspaper or reading articles online or you're watching it on TV, whatever it is, they have to say stuff to get you to go, ooh, I got to click on that. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Most of the time, you usually start reading it, and you're like, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal. But the headline got you. So understand that that's what they got to do. They write headlines to grab our attention and create a strong emotional response. And it works. Especially market and economic news. That's what can really be the most stressful, because we don't know what's going to turn into a major headache or cause a market meltdown. So it's going to freak you out. So here's the deal. If you got headline stress, if you've been scrolling through social media and getting a little anxious, here's 3 simple strategies that I want you to use so that you can win this game. Number 1, this is probably the simplest. Turn off the TV. For crying out loud, you're in retirement. You don't want to be in retirement watching TV with a bottle of Pepto-Bismol next to you. That's not retirement. You had other plans for retirement, and most people it probably didn't revolve around 9 hours watching the news. So get outside, go visit with your grandkids, or have fun, or go play some golf or garden. At the very least, read a book. If you're going to hang out inside, read a book. Don't be watching TV and all this stuff going on. Another thing you can do is, while you turn off the TV, turn off notifications on your phone. That's a big one right there. I did this a couple of years ago, and what it's really done for me, I did this because of my business. When I'm running a financial planning practice, I can't have my attention diverted every 2 seconds. Well, this stinking phone pinging and dinging and ringing, and oh my gosh, it's like, well, what now? Well, what now? Well, what now? Geez, I had to turn all that stuff off. Literally, I told my wife, if you need to get a hold of me, call me. I'll look at the phone, and if it's you, I'll pick up. But don't text. Don't, send me an instant message through, Facebook or Instagram or whatnot. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to get on social media, especially turn off all the notifications from social media. If you're on Facebook and you want to limit all the stuff that comes to you, go into your settings and turn off the push notifications and the news alerts. Those things will immediately pull in your attention and can heighten the perception of danger and anxiety. Number 2, focus on doing something positive and refocus your brain. Sometimes we just need to do something else and set our minds at ease. Like I said before, whether that's spending some time outside, doing something, kind for someone else, or some other activity, channeling that anxious energy that so easily comes up, channel that in a positive direction, and that can help get you out of that stress rut. Number 3, reach out to somebody who reassures you. Sometimes I like to say that's me for my clients. Oftentimes I joke I'm more of a therapist than a financial advisor, depending on the markets. But reach out to a friend who's more calming. I know everybody's got that friend who you can just kind of be around and like, oh, okay. Already I feel better. You're so calm. We've all got that friend. Reach out to them. Hang out with them a little more. Somebody you love. Break that stress spiral by leaning on a support network. And here's the other thing. Converse to that. Avoid people or friends who have those kinds of personalities who kind of stoke your stress, if you will, or stoke that anxiety. They kind of feed into like, yeah, the market is going to explode. Maybe take a break from them. So those are my 3 things that you can focus on. Hopefully that helped. I'm kind of ranting today, but these are some of the things that help me even when I want to get away from it all. I get caught up in it, guys. I get caught up in the headlines and stuff sometimes and politics and it's so easy. I know when I've gone too far because oftentimes I'll literally feel angry. I'm like, okay, that's gone too far. I'm feeling upset. Time to shut that stuff off. Take like a social media fast, like a 3-day fast from social media. We actually do that kind of stuff with our kids. We're like, no, okay, video game fast for 3 days. And, they kind of have like, a little outburst for a few hours. But then the next thing you know, they're like, oh, I have a bicycle. Oh, I can play outside. It feels a lot better when you can just kind of take a break from stuff. So I hope that stuff helped. Headlines are everywhere. We can't always avoid them, but we can take a deep breath, put them on the back burner, and work to keep them from hurting our mindset. If you got any questions about what I've discussed, you want to speak with me personally, I always invite you to reach out. Would love it if you visited talktopatrick.com. When you go to that website, you're going to find my online calendar, and you can reserve a 30-minute phone call with me. I'd love to answer any questions that you have about retirement planning, investment planning. Obviously, that's why you listen to this podcast, is for to get some retirement planning, investment, income planning tips and techniques. We'd love to answer any questions you have about that. So go to talktopatrick.com, and you'll find my calendar there. So thanks for listening to the podcast today, and I will talk to you real soon. If you got something good out of the show, make sure you rate it, give me a thumbs up, and hit subscribe so you never miss out. Also, share it with your friends. Be sure to find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. One more thing before you go. Remember that the information I talk about on this podcast is believed to be factual and up to date, but do not consider it as personalized investment advice and cannot be interpreted as an offer to buy or sell any securities mentioned. You need to visit with a professional advisor, tax, or legal counselor before implementing any of the strategies presented. My firm, Retirement Lifestyles Advisory Group, is registered as an investment advisor, and we only transact business in the states where we're properly registered to do so.